Spencer, or Squamashi, and today I want to talk about body mechanics in animation. Let's look over here at my screen. Here's the little character that I drew, and right now he is in balance. The number one thing that I see in student work, where somebody might say, I think you need to work on body mechanics, often it is a lack of balance in their animation. Their weight is off and it feels wrong. In addition to the 12 principles of animation, right? Arcs, squashy, stretchy, ins and outs, the slow ins and slow outs, all those things, secondary action, follow through. Those are things that you should be practicing. But this one, I think, should have been included as the 13th principle of animation. If there's a next one that's the most important, then it would be this. And let me show you what I mean. So if we take our guy and he wants to lift up his leg, then you can see that he is gonna fall over, right? Like his weight is going this way. So if you were just to see this picture, this frame of this animation, you would automatically think he's falling to screen right. So how do you fix this? What if you wanted them to think that he is just balancing like that? Well, grab a different color. So you want to find the center of gravity of your character. So if we take this upper part, which is the weight, right? We've got like all of this, plus maybe it's coming out here because of how heavy this leg is. So maybe it's a little off center. We take the middle of where we think is like the balance of this blob, draw a line straight down from that, and this is where the contact should be with the ground. And I probably did that too big. So if we just take this and go straight down from there, that might work, or just offset it a little bit because of how far over this leg is, right? So if we redrew this so that his leg instead was coming like that, right? Now it doesn't seem quite so crazy that he could be balanced like that because his foot is over enough. And maybe even farther, right? So let's look at another pose. So here he's shifted over. You could even lift up an arm or something to counter some of that weight. But I still had to move his foot over to here, right? From here. You have to shift his foot over. One important thing in body mechanics is that your hips and your shoulders counter each other a lot. This is very common. So if your hips are going up, then your shoulders going down. And that's not always the case, but almost always the case. If you side with that, then your poses will look more natural. Let's try another one. So we went from that to that. This to this. So he brought his leg in, and he can bring his arm down, and now his whole profile is smaller now, so it's easier to stay balanced. And even here, like, I might bring his foot over just a little bit more, just to feel a little more in contact with, like, a little more in balance. Okay, here's one totally off balance. So where should the contact on the ground be if we want this pose to look balanced, right? So let's take the middle of it, drop it down, contact. So if his foot contacted here, from here, so maybe he's got like a bent leg, I don't know. Still, see, his leg is out so far that maybe we need to shift it over a little bit. So, like there. There's some people base it off of the ear. So like, say the character has ears, right? Then you would drop it down from the inside ear and go straight down. Right there-ish. And that does feel pretty balanced, right? So at least it's better, but definitely not clear over here, right? So let me just show you an example. I'm just gonna stand up. So if I wanted to lift up my foot, I have to shift. You can see my whole body shifting over here. If I just try to lift up my foot without doing that, then I start falling, right? Same thing from the front. If I am walking, I'm gonna shift. You can't really see it, but walking is just a bunch of falls. So if I just lift up my foot, I'm just balanced. So in order to walk, I have to be leaning forward a little bit, right? Lift up my foot, and then I walk. So when somebody is walking, they need to be leaning in the direction that they're walking. If I'm leaning forward and trying to walk backwards, it's super hard, right? Also, your hips. You can't really tell because I'm not wearing a belt or something, but when I'm stepping, you can see my hips rotate so that the leg out in front is reaching. So as I'm walking, I'm leaning forward and my hips are gonna rotate, right? They'll rotate so I can reach forward, and then they'll switch the other way. This leg reaches forward.
The up or down, like which side is going up or down, it actually varies depending on the kind of walk that's happening. With some walks, while they're walking, they like lift this hip up, right? But sometimes when you're walking, the passing leg will drop.
Always use reference. That's the next tip. So Sync Sketch is a way to drop your reference in and analyze it pretty well. So I have a drawing monitor and you kind of want to be a little bit precise with these things, but as you can see, the way that I analyze reference, and you don't always want to go frame for frame exactly like your reference or else it'll feel really floaty, but the way that I do it is I will take my reference and track things, like track the hips. So let's see, brush, let's go like this. Right. So you can see that my hips are moving back before I take a step because I have to get my balance over that other foot, and then my body is leaning forward and my weight is starting to move this way. So I'll break it down often by like just looking at the hips for a while. See, like, okay, here I'm moving back over that foot and I paused, it kind of stalls and slowly eases forward, and just follow it. Like you can just put a dot in the middle. Right? And if you just use dots, go all the way through your reference, you can get the translation of it. And then you can do it again to find the rotations, because there's a lot of rotations going on too, right? Such as the one going around, right? There's rotations going up and down, and then there are side to side, right? Like that, X, Y, and Z axis. So those are all things, your hips just are kind of like a ball that's floating around, rotating all over the place. And if you just try to guess it out of your head, there's chances you're gonna miss some things. So always using reference is important. And this is a way to break that down. One note when you're using reference is that if you are trying to go frame for frame and copy it, most of the time video reference is 30 frames per second, or even 29.97. and your animation is almost always going to be 24 frames per second. So you're going to be off. So the conversion from 30 to 24 is for every 5 frames that you move in your reference, then that equals 4 frames in Maya, right? Or whatever animation software you're using. So you track your hips first, work your way through the body. Like next you could check your shoulders and just double check, like, are my hips and shoulders moving at the same time? And this I kind of am. But you can see there's like overlap happening, or with my hips hit my shoulders and then my hand, and then I even have this arm continues to kind of swing. So adding those types of things in there, which are basic animation principles, are just going to help your character feel alive, right? So let's just apply that to Maya. So if I was just going to pose, so body mechanics apply to posing and apply to animation, but in just a simple pose, right? If we, okay, turn off. Oops. With a simple pose, if I lift up his foot, first he needs to shift his weight over to this foot, right? So first he shifts his weight, then he lifts his foot, then he leans forward, right? And it kind of matters what order things actually happen. If somebody's just like weight shifting around, they might, like just standing there, it's more interesting to have them shifting to one side than to just be standing straight like this. Like a soldier might stand straight like this because he's not relaxed, right? Soldiers are not relaxed, but just somebody else, when they're just standing there, but probably in a more relaxed state. This is even exaggerated a little bit, right? But then come over here, rotate the hips and rotate the shoulders the other way. All right, so as you are animating, look at your character from every angle, like not just the camera. The camera is the most important angle because that's what people are gonna see. But if you check your work from different angles and make sure that he's still balanced and it still makes sense, then it'll be so much easier for you to get your next poses in, to make it feel like he's moving realistically. So with your posing as well, if you have some pose that you're just making up and it's not just standing there, right? It's something unnatural in your, he's running around frantically and there's something crazy going on. It's a really good idea to try to act it out yourself and see like if you can actually do that thing, if your body can even move like that. Because I mean, in animation you can break things, right? But most of the time you want to stay within real physical boundaries that the character could realistically do. If you, I don't have an example of that. There's sometimes when you're animating and your character will get into gimbal lock. And that is where a control is trying to jump from one orientation to another orientation, because the 3 axes, X, Y, and Z, aren't rotating in a way that lets them all work together in harmony, right? So if you find that like you're in some like weird pose and you're like jumping around and you're running into these weird things where like for some reason my elbow is like always jumping, or my knee keeps on like going crazy. My wrists are going like this, but you don't have any key that's like this. You have a key like this and a key like this, but your wrist is going like that. That means that there is a gimbal situation happening, and you can solve it sometimes just by moving things in a realistic way. If that doesn't work though, then using the actual gimbal controls. And the way that I break that down is I have usually you have your like wrist control, which is bigger, and then a gimbal control, which is a little smaller. And so I'll use the wrist control, the IK wrist control, right, for something like translations, like just translations and no rotations. And then the gimbal control I'll use for just rotations. And that almost always solves that problem. I think if you try those things, keep your character balanced, pay attention to the center of gravity and where your foot is contacting the ground, which way the character's leaning, because depending on the lean, if you were to pause your animation on any given frame, somebody should be able to know exactly what is about to happen, what's happening. And so that's what it means to have clear posing, is that no matter where we stop, then we just know what's happening. We can feel the motion with the pose, right? So apply that. So I hope that helps. Use that in addition to the 12 principles that you have. Take those, print them out. When I first started, I had a list printed out that I would, whenever I animated something, just go through the list. And even if you're experienced, it's a good idea to have the list in front of you, just so you remember, like, oh, did I add anticipation to this? Or did I think about secondary actions, right? Like some of these things you might not always apply to what you're doing, but if you have the list there, then you'll always remember to use them. And so the 13th one that I want you to add to that list is balance and weight, center of gravity, something like that. Add that to your list to always check. So I hope that helps, and good luck on your animating. So see ya.